President Dugan, Provost Houlihan, members of the Board of Trustees and of the administration, my colleagues of the faculty, distinguished guests, family and friends of our graduates, and to you, the students of the class of 2014, it is a humbling but distinct honor to be able to address you on this, your commencement day. First, I wish to thank all those responsible for my receiving this honorary doctorate from St. Francis College, where I have served now for 46 years. I particularly wish to thank President Brendan Dugan, the Board of Trustees, and Provost Houlihan for this privilege of becoming an honorary alumnus of the college which I so love. I wish to thank them also, along with my faculty colleagues and the entire college community, for unfailing encouragement, support, and inspiration these many years. Among many benefactors I remember today is our late and beloved President and Chancellor, Dr. Frank Macchiarola, who was to me a supporter, a mentor, a model, and a friend, as he was to all of us who serve at St. Francis College. I happily acknowledge also the presence with us today of Frank's wife, Mary Macchiarola, who has also encouraged and animated our best efforts over these many years. Thank you, Mary. First and foremost, I extend to you, the class of 2014, my congratulations. Yes. You have stayed the course, met many challenges along the way, and today, one of your dreams is fulfilled. Congratulations to you all. On your behalf, and on behalf of this entire academic community, I extend our collective thanks to your families and friends here and at home for untiring support, encouragement, and yes, patience. You share today in the proud achievements of these graduates, and we thank you. At every commencement, I feel a close bond with the graduates because we are part of a shared community and because I know so many of you, not only by face, but by name. I have taught many of you. Others I have worked with in clubs and organizations, such as the Duns Scotus Society, in the honors program, in other college events and projects, in some cases even working with you to plan a project for study abroad. I certainly feel this bond with you, the class of 2014, in an even deeper way, since I, like you, become today an alumnus of St. Francis College, an honorary one, and thus a member also of the class of 2014. I share with you still another bond. Like you and with you, today I leave St. Francis College since I am retiring after 46 years of teaching. We are venturing forth from a warm and nurturing environment into a new phase of life, into the unknown, which is always a little unsettling, but also very exhilarating because there is something new and inviting ahead of us. It is appropriate at this ceremony that it take place here in the Brooklyn Academy of Music. First of all, because we are seated in one of the great architectural spaces of Brooklyn and in the city of New York. I remember first entering this theater when I was 13 years old to attend a play. As we were led to our seats, I was awed by the architectural detail. I should have realized then that I was destined to become an architectural historian. Of course, I returned after that, but I never made it on stage. Until June 1969, when I sat here, attending my first St. Francis College commencement as a new faculty member, the first of 45 commencements to follow. Yes, this is an impressive public space, but the Academy is one of the premier cultural centers in the city, specifically for the arts and performance, and has been since 1861. There are many affinities between the Brooklyn Academy and our college. The Academy's first major center was located on Montague Street between Court and Clinton Streets, just 1 block from where we are now located. The St. Francis Academy had been founded by the Franciscan Brothers in 1859, just 2 years before the Brooklyn Academy. And both institutions have served the boroughs and the larger metropolitan area in impacting and forming the educational and cultural life of local citizens. Think of it. St. Francis College has served the cause of higher education in the 5 boroughs and beyond in 3 different centuries. Note, not for 3 centuries, but in the last third of the 19th century, throughout the 20th century, and now well into the 21st. Our college mission statement proclaims that we are an independent, private college in the Franciscan and Catholic traditions. And of these characteristics, I will focus upon the Franciscan tradition, which, according to the college mission statement, underpins the college's commitment to academic excellence. Not all college degrees are the same by any means. The degree that you receive today is from a college underpinned by the Franciscan tradition, which has informed your entire academic program and which supports the college's strong liberal arts dimension. For purposes of clarity, I wish to point out that in my reasoning, the Franciscan academic tradition includes, presumes, and subsumes the liberal arts, but that the Franciscan tradition is even broader, more inclusive, and rich in implications. The reason that the Franciscan intellectual and academic tradition is so bound up with the liberal arts is easily explained. The college and university systems, as we experience them today, were a medieval invention, and specifically a creation of the church. Private and state-affiliated colleges and universities followed many centuries later. Franciscan scholars were at Oxford University as early as 1224, 2 years before St. Francis's death, and were soon also at the University of Paris, well before the year 1300. Thus, Franciscan intellectuals and scholars helped shape the first universities of the Western world. To put it simply, Franciscanism and the liberal arts tradition are totally interwoven into one academic fabric. In view of all of this, it is good this afternoon to realize that our St. Francis College in Brooklyn Heights, soon to be your alma mater, is the only college in the Franciscan tradition in New York City, the only one. We carry on that tradition of Franciscan intellectual inquiry and pursuit of excellence that goes all the way back to the great European universities of the 13th century. This is the college you chose to attend, and this is the real nature of the degree you will receive today. Given our medieval roots, it might sound as if this, our educational pursuit, is out of touch with the times, but nothing could be further from the truth. We see this most specifically in your major programs, the heart of your academic pursuits. As academic disciplines, the major programs are interesting and valuable in themselves, but they also provide first-rate preparation for meaningful careers in the 21st century. For a small college, their variety and quality are outstanding. These major programs are informed by the Franciscan tradition, which provides formation of confident alumni, well prepared for graduate study, and for meaningful and fulfilling careers, as well as for service-oriented leadership, to quote our mission statement. Notice that last phrase. In addition to the personally fulfilling career, for service to others beyond ourselves, and that service in leadership capacity. Rounding out the Franciscan educational proposal are the other courses outside the major, particularly the core curriculum. Therein, you have been introduced to the broad range of areas of human knowledge and experience that are needed to move beyond being merely well-trained in a field or major for career purposes, as important and essential as that is, from being well-trained to being well-educated. Each of these areas are called disciplines because they have discrete outlooks on reality and diverse methodologies. You reviewed and expanded upon basic skills, moved on to areas such as the sciences and mathematics, to a wide range of the arts and also social sciences, and of course to religious studies and philosophy, among others. Just about every one of you struggled with some of these requirements. One or other core course may have challenged particular skills in that area, or may have even been of less interest. For myself as an undergraduate, I loved the arts, but my aptitude for math and science was limited. So in college, left to my own devices, I would have skipped further investigation into the world of the physical sciences, such as biology and chemistry, and certainly mathematics. But my core curriculum forced me to be introduced to fundamental areas of human knowing that I would have left aside. It helped me round out my education so that I was not too narrow, focused on and acquainted with only the arts which I so much loved. In years to follow, I saw the value of these requirements, but not right away, as now I have been much better able to follow various discussions and debates in the world of the sciences. And the math helped me later, much to my surprise, in understanding complex mathematical dimensions of architecture, from ancient Egypt down to a Renaissance church by Brunelleschi or an Italian facade by Alberti. You, the graduates of the class of 2014, know that this core curriculum completes and enacts the truest sense of the word education, from the Latin to lead out. We are led out of ourselves, beyond our narrow personal interests, into areas that are essential for a full understanding of the world of reality into which our own particular majors and later careers fit. In The Risk of Education, Luigi Giussani has written, "To educate is to assist another to enter into the totality of the real." William Baudin has enlarged on this concept with the image of a circle, writing, "We might fruitfully understand Franciscan education as an invitation to enter into an ever-widening circle of meaning. The circle imagery has deep roots in the writing of Bonaventure. It represents the inclusivity and integration that are hallmarks of the intellectual Franciscan vision. Education in this vision is not merely a door to a great career, it is a door to human transformation." In The Idea of a University, John Henry Cardinal Newman elaborated on this idea of the wider circle of human knowledge as a larger context for career preparation, and I quote, "One who has been trained to think upon one subject only, or for one subject only, will never be a good judge even in that one subject, whereas the enlargement of one's intellectual circle gives increased knowledge and judgment at a rapidly increasing rate," unquote. Newman summarizes this approach as, and I quote, "that true enlargement of mind, which is the power of viewing many things at once as one whole," unquote. Well, this is what happens at St. Francis College, specifically because of the Franciscan and liberal arts underpinning the curriculum. The degree you receive today is not the same as a degree offered down the block or across town or in Manhattan or in another state. A Franciscan and liberal arts education does not set as its unique goal the transmission of great ideas, but rather implies a personal interiorizing of these ideas, ultimately expressing themselves in action. Thus, there are always ethical and moral dimensions to liberal education. First and foremost is the imperative, not just of concern for the disadvantaged, but serving them, and serving as well those marginalized in the many senses of that word. This manifests itself not as a devotion to an abstract social agenda, but to actual, concrete action for the individual person in need. Molded by this focus on social justice and care for the individual, students also begin to perceive and serve specific needs in the larger community and become engaged citizens as well. Thus, you note, integrated into the curriculum are service requirements, internships based on service, and service learning projects. I personally am amazed at the number of you, our graduates, who go beyond these service requirements and engage in volunteer projects throughout the city on a regular basis, despite the time constraints your academic endeavors impose upon you. This is the Franciscan ideal in action. You enact what Ronald Rolheiser characterizes in this way, that we live a life that acknowledges that the life of another is more real and more important to me than my own. The Franciscan stance articulated in our program and enacted by our students is totally countercultural, as is much of what the Franciscan intellectual tradition proposes today. Likewise, the liberal arts tradition, through that ever-widening circle of which Bonaventure and others have written, affirms the fundamentally shocking but absolutely true statement of Socrates centuries before Christ, that the unexamined life is not worth living. Socrates is correct precisely because to lead such a non-examined existence is to settle for so much less than a human life can be. Granted, the search for ultimate meaning is arduous, and the conclusions we reach are various, but the search for meaning can never properly be an option. In the same way, those today who set as their ultimate goal wealth or power or fame, or all three, fail to grasp the splendid depth of a human life fully lived. Any of these goals might well be desirable, or all three of them. But those who set one or all up as the goal are actually settling for so little out of life. The paradox and truth of this statement may elude many, but the antidote to such obtuseness is one thing only: a truly liberal education. Called liberal because it has the potential to set us free from all that conspires to reduce our humanity. Liberal education, as in the Franciscan tradition, is not a kind of academic icing on the cake, a nice added extra if you can have it. It is a crucial instrument of resistance against all the forces, many very subtle, that conspire daily to reduce us to something just a little less than fully human. No wonder that in this academic context, we also use the term the humanities. As I conclude, I will tell you one brief anecdote about the opening days of most of my courses. Those of you who have taken my classes may well remember what I am going to relate. Usually during the first week, as I present material we have read, a student will ask, quite intelligently and reasonably, "Professor, please tell us, of all of this, what do we have to know?" To which I always answer without missing a beat, "Just everything." As I conclude now, please remember that phrase for a few moments, just everything. Today, we go forward from the small college of big dreams. As I said earlier, one of your deepest dreams is fulfilled today. But continue to dream, and dream very big indeed. But one thing, if you are going after a dream, give it your all, 100%, the best you can. Give it just everything, or else let it go. Leave no place in your vocabulary or efforts for the half measure, the half-hearted, or even worse, for the mediocre. Never. You cannot do more than your best, but your best you can do. So dream very big dreams always, and just give it everything, and your dreams will become reality. Thank you.